Well, welcome to another edition of Show After the Show. I am Rob Dempsey. We're getting to know the people that make this community so great. You're seeing Dawn Sheriff along with us, a part of Mathnasium. Dawn, I understand that your parents just celebrated 50 years.
Yes, they did. 50-year anniversary back in April, actually COVID April, but
Yeah.
2020 April.
How did you all celebrate in the midst of a pandemic?
Well, we just talked a lot about things and wished them well. But honestly, mom and dad are still kind of locked down. They're in that at-risk group, and so we didn't do a big celebration. We are still kind of holding out, waiting for a celebration. So maybe this year we'll see if we can do one.
Yeah. With 51, it's going to be doubly as good.
Yeah,
which is so good. So he worked for the city of Anderson and your mom worked for Edward Jones. So it looks like you've got math in your blood.
Maybe. Daddy did have a civil engineering degree, so he was always good at math. And, mom always thought school was very important and pushed us academically for sure. But yeah, the Edward Jones was an investment thing she did for a while, we were still in school, and it kind of worked with the school schedule. So, but yeah, I don't know that anybody was pushing us super hard, but yeah, we did have some help there.
Yeah, well, somewhere along the line it kind of stuck. I love that you grew up in the faith. I mean, you went to Welcome Baptist Church as you were growing up.
Yeah, that was probably the high school years. We were there for I don't know, probably 10 years now that I think about it. And then through college I actually went back to church there. Me and the Garrison girls were friends growing up. So to get Garrison's twins, they know who I am. So
oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I understand that his radio has been a part of your life for quite some time.
Yes, it has been. I listen to Christian radio a lot. I think it's just very encouraging, very uplifting. Even when the skies are gray and it's a rainy day, you can always look forward to it cheering you up. So, yeah.
It's even a part of your faith journey?
It is indeed. The very first time I ever heard the gospel and responded to it was through a radio program. So I don't know what the program was, honestly. I don't know who the radio preacher was, but it was very impactful in my young life.
Yeah, and to the point where you said, I'm going to give it all to Jesus just by listening.
Yep, exactly. That was exactly it. And at the time, there was a season in our life back, probably when I was in middle school or before middle school, before we went to high school, when we really weren't very faithful going to church. And that's when I was listening, searching, trying to find what is this all about?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of those times in your life growing up. And I was listening to a radio station on my little Walkman. And one evening in my bedroom and heard a radio preacher and responded to it and thought, this is it. This is what I know I need to do. And so at that point, we weren't going to church as a family. And it was after my grandmothers passed away. Each of my mom and my dad's mothers passed, I think probably within 3 to 5 years of each other. And after that, it was like, okay, my parents said, let's get back in church. And that's when we started going to Welcome. And so at that point, the baptism came a good bit later after that. But it was still exciting to finally get things going in the right direction. So everybody has those faith journeys where, you have those seasons of, what is life about? And, but the radio really just came through and answered a big need in my life at that time. So,
And what an honor that it was a part of his radio. That is so cool. Yeah. So Dawn's been a teacher for like 6 years, but something happened when your oldest daughter was in 6th grade and she was struggling with math. You were like searching for something to help.
Yeah, I had kind of made a mess. I hear this from parents, and I'm like, I have to put my parent hat back on and say, yeah, when I was a teacher and I couldn't help my kid, I thought, why is this that I have an education degree, a master's degree even, and I'm struggling to help my daughter? And we just had searched doing like different schools. I took her out of public school. We tried several private schools. We did some online school. We did some Bob Jones curriculum, just homeschooling. I made a mess of her math, to be honest. And when you change curriculums like that, you really do skip things entirely. So when I was searching one night, just what am I going to do? This is so frustrating. I found Mathnasium online in Lexington, which is far from here. And so Annette Sudeth down there told me about the program, and we got Sydney started in it, and it made such a big difference in just fixing all that mess that I had made. The missing concepts just all got filled in. She was an older student, so she didn't love math. I had high expectations. I thought she would love math, but no, she doesn't love math, but it did help her tremendously. And so we bought into the franchise and brought it to Greenville. So it's been a fun, wild ride, but we love what we do here. And I feel like like, God called me to be a teacher. I didn't ever really know which subject. And it's interesting because I have taught so many different things, but I love teaching the math this way. It's a real fun thing that we do, and we provide a big support for families in our area. So
That is so great. I mean, Alex is a part of one of the first stories of Mathnasium in Greenville.
Yep, he is. Alex works at Chick-fil-A on Woodruff Road, so shout out to Alex. But he is, I always called him Alex the Great, so his mom, Sandy, will know that I'm talking about her if she listening. But he's a great kid. He was just struggling in math, and we turned it around for him. And the day she walked in, about 3 or 5, it was somewhere between 3 to 6 months after he'd started, and she walked into my door, and she's like, Dawn, I just have to tell you, she's like, it's not just the math grades that have gone up, it's everything else. Like, it had just completely changed his trajectory in school because he was so discouraged because he couldn't get this math, and we fixed that for him. So, again, Alex is one of the kids, he's never going to love math probably, but he absolutely got through high school and is working at the Chick-fil-A right now and looking at college.
Great.
And we're just happy that we were a part of his story. So.
Oh, so good too, is that I understand that he was bullied as well, but I mean, you even shot some good confidence inside this young man, and look where he is today.
Yeah.
With everything with Mathnasium. So
Yeah.
you have the summer slide that's coming up. I always love that term, the summer slide, when kids are kind of slumping on their in school. And I know it's like we're just heading into spring, but still you got to think about the summer slide that's coming up.
Right. And unfortunately, with the COVID thing, that schools have been virtual, they've been shut down. We've kind of seen a COVID slide that has compacted the summer slide.
Yeah.
So we've seen kids sliding backwards. And the kids that have been with us have not had that regression. Thankfully, we've been able to support them through this. But summer coming up is definitely a bigger regression, especially now that they're like, oh, I just want to be out of school. Please, Mom, I don't want to do school. But if they can come do math with us this summer, I promise we'll make it fun.
All right. Yeah.
We really do. Parents are always shocked that they're like, my kid was actually asking to come to Mathnasium today. Who is this child? What has happened to my kid? But we do make it fun. As you can see, our Learning Center is really about making math fun. And sometimes in school, they don't feel that way. It's about grades, and they're scared, and there's fear. But we don't make it that way at all. We make it a lot of fun, and we just remove that fear factor so that they can really have mastery of the concepts.
Yeah. Mathnasium, it's membership monthly. You have other terms. You also do an assessment with these kids when they come in, so you can learn how you can teach them through Mathnasium.
Exactly. So that free assessment is a really great value to parents. Even if they don't enroll with us, we like to be able to show them, especially even like homeschool parents. Sometimes they'll say, I just don't know how I'm doing. I can't tell how we're tracking. And it's like, well, just come do an assessment with us. We'll show you where you're at, So we do provide that as a free service. And but the assessment is our tool to figure out where do we need to plug in the missing math concepts. We don't waste time on the stuff that they already know. We just work on the things that they need to work on to get that mastery.
Yeah, I understand you help kids 2 to 3 times a week. You give homework support. Sometimes you do some work one-on-one, which I think is so important for a lot of kids.
Right. That homework piece right now is, especially this time of year, we have kids that are really, third quarter, fourth quarter tend to be really challenging in a normal year, but we are doing a lot of homework support one-on-one. We do offer private sessions for especially higher level math, algebra 2, pre-calc, even the calc A, B, B, Cs, college math. We have some prob and stats kids that we do private sessions with them.
That's good. So the younger, the better, from what I understand, and in person and virtual. So you make sure that even though you got the coolest classroom that's behind you, even strategically have water fountains right underneath Mathnasium, so they know, hey, it's refreshing at Mathnasium. It quenches my thirst. But you do the virtual sessions as well, which is so important, especially during this whole time of pandemic and COVID.
Right. Yeah. The computer I'm actually talking to you is one of our virtual computers. So we have stations in each of our centers that instructors can hop on and work virtually with the students. I actually have about 10 college staff that work remotely from their college campuses. So I have girls at FSU, Clemson University. There was one in Colorado last semester. So these are girls and guys that have worked for me in center for years, because we do hire high school students, Mu Alpha Theta kids. I've actually got a Mu Alpha Theta t-shirt last night for sponsoring the Malden Maverick Mu Alpha Thetas. I was excited. It's such a cool t-shirt too. But anyway, so we definitely hire high school kids, definitely hire college students. And it's a great opportunity to kind of build their resume, helps their SAT scores too, because they're learning different ways of doing the math than what they traditionally have learned. And they just become better math students themselves. So it's a really great fun thing to do if you're a high school student that loves math, or if you're a college student that loves math, or if you just need some extra hours, but on a very flexible schedule. I'm super flexible with my staff. So they really like working for us.
We've got all the links provided for you right here on Show After the Show. Dawn Sheriff has been joining us from Mathnasium in Greenville. Thank you, Dawn, for everything you shared with us today.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. We'll see you for another edition of Show After the Show very soon.